This is Michael Pickle from MoreHorror.com here reporting from the opening party for Shriekfest 2011. We're here with two beautiful actresses. What's your names?
Jessica Cameron, Amber Mikesell.
And do you consider yourselves horror actresses?
I am a huge fan of horror genre and have been really lucky that I have done most of my work in the horror genre. I am new to horror. I've done one horror film, but mostly am a series actress.
How do you feel about the contrast between straight films and horror films?
Well, it is a different medium, but the transition is one where you really just have to look inside and pull out your inner terror, and that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, you have to use a lot of intense emotions. So what are some of your projects that you're most known for?
Right now, Mr. Hush just got a theatrical release, so we're kind of really excited with that, a limited theatrical release. Potpourri, which is this wonderful zombie horror comedy, is going to be released in October, starting in Minneapolis, so that's going to be awesome. Then we have various web series coming out. I'm trying to think of my horror. Animal Spiders is going to be on the Sci-Fi Channel, so that's more of a sci-fi, but it's definitely got some horror elements in it. Resurrection will hopefully be getting finished up released shortly. Mother's Blood is currently in post-production, so that should be released hopefully beginning of next year. So, and then The Sleeper just got a limited theatrical release, and we're expecting to make that for that soon too.
And you guys work together on a project? Which one was it?
A comedy series called Two Doors Down.
Okay.
Not horror unless you think living two doors down from your ex-wife is a horror nightmare. And it could have gone that way, but they chose to make it funny.
And what are some of your favorite horror films?
Oh God, I love so many, and I love them all for totally different reasons.
What made you want to get into horror?
Well, you know, it actually was just a beautiful coincidence because we both were from originally the Midwest, and Midwest is thoroughly horror. But I have always wanted to be in horror films because I love the intensity of the horror film, and I love the actual art of being scared. So being an actress to be able to make other people scared is a wonderful experience. She has the best horror scream around too, so just like you. But I love it, and I love all of them. Like I grew up watching, the Halloween and the Critters and all of the classic 80s horror. So I've always stayed with it. I've loved it. So everything from like your cheesy Child's Play, which is what I watched when I was a kid, to the more serious like Insidious and Audition and I love it all. So I know. And to me, there's no greater feeling than being scared out of your mind because nothing other than what you're watching on screen. To me, that's a wonderful. If you can create that level of fear, like Insidious had me jumping out of my seat.
Especially for PG-13, I thought it was scary.
Oh my gosh! And because they didn't do what I loved about Insidious is it was just a really great story and it was a really good plot.
Yeah.
Outside of they didn't do a lot of actual torture, there wasn't a lot of blood, guts, and gore. It was all just like the actual innate fear that they really did. And I love campy. I just saw a movie called Chillerama, which is a very
I've seen that too.
Yeah, really clever kind of drive-in movie. Horror sort of schlock from the 50s and 60s, and I thought it was brilliantly done.
Yeah. And were you a fan of horror before you got into horror films?
I was, but that 80s horror, and then once I transitioned into the more series type acting that I've been doing, I lost touch. But now knowing Jessica as much as I do, she's drawn me back into it, and thus here I am. It does happen, of course. You can try to get away, but we'll suck you back in.
And one more question. What are you going to do for Halloween this year?
I have a thing about 80s cartoon characters. I love 80s cartoon characters. So I've been Gem, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to be Rainbow Bright. I'm thinking it. But I've always wanted to be Sherry Moon Zombie from the Thousand Corpses.
Oh, yeah.
I just have to get the right outfits.
Okay.
We can make it. It's true. We can make it. I don't know if I want to unleash the assless chaps onto LA yet. We might. Stay tuned.
And what are you going to do this Halloween?
You know what? If she unleashes assless chaps, I'm going to have to find something to rival that. So, yeah, stay tuned.
Okay, thank you very much. It was nice to meet you. probably see you around there.
Definitely. What are you going to be playing?
Yeah, I mean, you get to hear about us.
We'll have to keep this posted. I'll keep my
Michael.
My name is Michelle Lacroix, and I'm recently down here from Santa Cruz. Originally been down here 6 months trying to get everything going. So yeah, but I'm here at Shriekfest and I'm loving it. Exciting news for me is I just got a new manager. Her name is Tracy Keshak, and I'm looking for a new agent. So out there, if anyone wants to represent me, I'm open. So yeah.
What are some of your favorite horror films?
My favorite horror films are, I love Dead or Alive, of course, and I just saw Necromantic, and that is the creepiest, most messed up movie I've ever seen, but it was awesome. So it's in German and it's all subtitled, but if you haven't seen it, check it out. It'll mess with your mind a little bit. Yeah.
Do you seek out horror projects, or you just take anything that any good part that comes along?
Right now, I would love any good part, really, to get more out there, but I love horror. Like, if I'm at the, gonna go see a movie or rent a movie, I'm definitely in the horror genre. That's what I go to first. I love all the blood and guts. Like, I love the cheesy horror drama. Like, that's boobs and blood. I can't complain about that. So.
And in Blue, was that the first time you were killed on film?
Yes, that was the first time I've ever actually been murdered on film. So.
How was that experience?
It was fun. It was kind of hard to play dead, like not move at all. I was just like, oh, can I breathe? But it was fun. It was a really enjoyable experience. I would love to do it again. Maybe a little more blood this time, though.
And what are you going to do for Halloween this year?
For Halloween this year, I think I'm going to be a dead bride. I recently just got engaged to my lovely fiance, Mickey Jury.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so we'll probably do husband and wife, but the dead zombified ones, because that'll be way cooler.
Awesome. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
Nice
I
to meet you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Domiziano Arcangeli, and I love MoreHorror.com.
We're here with Erin Hogan from Paranormal Entity. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What are some of the projects you've been working on recently?
Recently, I just shot an action comedy, so I was kind of out of my element because I don't do comedy. But it's called Agent Steel, and the trailer should be coming up really soon. I think they're talking about the next couple weeks. And also, my zombie comedy, which I was more in my element, because it's horror. That's going to be showing in yet another film festival. It'll be in Orange County at the Everyone is Dead Film Festival on October 21st and 22nd.
Do you do a lot of horror films?
I mostly do horror films. I really like the genre. I have no idea why. Most of the horror movies I see are pretty bad, but I watch them anyway, and I'm like, that was awesome. So, I don't know. I think there's something cool about getting to die a whole bunch and then watch it, but actually being alive. But maybe that's it.
What are some of your favorite horror films?
I'm a big fan of like the thrillers where people just the things that get me are like bones breaking under the skin, and like an Orphan. Orphan was kind of borderlining on a horror film, and the moment where she broke her arm and it just like popped out and it was under her skin, you could see it was just so disgusting. I'm a big fan of The Descent. I love The Descent, and it's got more moments like that. The girl breaks her leg and it's jetting out, and it's just like, oh, it's so much worse than slashing somebody. And
I love it because you take so much time getting to know the characters, and then you really care about these people when these horrible things happen to them.
Yeah, it really, if you don't know the character at all, then it's like, who cares about random girl running in her bra? She's just there to be running in her bra, But like the great thing about horror movies is, I think all of us kind of like doing it because we can watch everybody that we hated in high school die, and that's kind of fun. Yeah. Everybody you ever hated dies in your horror movie, which is kind of cool because that's illegal in real life.
Is there any subgenre you prefer, like slasher or supernatural?
I'm really into supernatural. I was supposedly a psychic child. I don't remember this. Ask my mom. I don't know. But I'm still really into the supernatural kind of stuff. but they take it kind of weird and far nowadays. So now I'm just kind of into whatever. I'm working on rewatching and watching some of the classics I missed right now. So right now I'm currently on all of the Chucky movies and revisiting those. Right now, Chucky movies, 3 is my favorite right now. So
Yeah, I like that a lot too.
yeah.
And what are you going to do for Halloween this year?
For Halloween, I am like the princess of making haunted houses. So I don't know if in St. Louis, where I'm from, people really trick-or-treated a lot up until 9/11. But here I don't know so much if they do. So I'm going to see if there's a lot of kids out. And if there are, then I'm going to hurry up and make my house a haunted house. Because I'm just really into scaring people. And that was always the best when you were a kid, to go to a haunted house and stick your hand in spaghetti. And that house was always the coolest house on the block. So I think I'm going to do that.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. It was great talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
Hello, my name's Luke Giudici. I directed Certified, screening at Shriekfest, and you're watching MoreHorror.com.
We're here with a husband and wife writing team. They have a screenplay in competition this year at Shriekfest. And what's the name of your screenplay?
It's called Rideshare. Rideshare.
And you both wrote it?
Yeah, we co-wrote it, came up with it, wrote it, and as we do a lot of things, but this was our first horror thriller that we wrote together. So we've done comedies together, we've done dramas together, but we've never done a horror screenplay together. So this was, something.
How is it different than dealing with the other genres? Do you have to approach it a whole different way?
Well, I think I may be the one that's more inclined to like gore and just that side of the brain, the horror side of things, and she's always loved to watch horror films with me, always, so she definitely had it there, but it never was expressed until this one. So I think that's the difference.
I think I usually add like maybe the drama to the films. Any drama, like, well, how she would feel, that type of thing. That's more of me.
Like if I'm writing a horror screenplay, she's like, oh, well, you know what, maybe you should do this, but she had never been like actively.
Cut her head off now. No,
right, none of that stuff. Right. So this was the first time for that.
How is the process of writing together? Does one of you come up with story and the other one do the writing of the dialogue? Or?
Well, it's weird because we sit there and we'll go through an entire screenplay. Like we'll just sit there and just talk it out. We'll talk the whole thing out and just say, well, this happened, or we'll backtrack and say, well, this doesn't make sense. We'll go through the whole thing, like record it and listen to it, and from that we'll actually get a treatment going or get an outline going, and then the script itself. So we usually just talk through the whole thing. So from idea all the way to like finished treatment is just both of us, and then we both like kind of tag team on writing. So
what were some of the horror films that influenced this particular screenplay?
That influenced this one in particular? What was the one? High intensity?
High tension.
High tension. We thought about that a lot right before we actually came up with this idea. But some of our favorites, The Shining.
Well, I would say also Hitchhiker is another one that we saw. We like, oh, this is a pretty cool concept. One that's not really explored a lot. So yeah, that's definitely another one that we looked at. And saw some things that we would probably want to do different, of course.
And Rideshare, it's a story about a horribly disturbed young woman who finds ride shares on Craigslist or Gregslist or whatever you want to call it, Craigslist, and lures these guys, and what she is a serial killer, and this guy thinks he's having the night of his life. But it could, actually turn out to be the night of his gruesome death, because she does this all the time. And we don't find a whole lot of female serial killers that there's not a lot of story about them when there is, and so we wanted to kind of stray from the beaten path and have a female serial killer that's just as apt at killing as any male crazy serial killer that you would find out there.
Sounds like a really good story.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Good luck with the competition.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
And what are your names again?
Charles Davidson and
Nicoya Davidson.
Thank you very much.
Good talking to you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Nice to meet you.
Jessica Cameron telling you to check out
Here with Mickey Jury from MTV Films. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Do you have a film in the competition this year?
No, I don't, actually. But I'm just really good friends with Denise and everyone out here, so just came out to give my support, you know.
What are some of your current projects?
The film that I most recently worked on is called Detention, and it's through MTV Films. That is starring Dane Cook and Josh Hutcherson, and just have a small role in it, but it was a lot of fun to work on, and it just got picked up by Sony, so it'll actually hopefully be coming to theaters, so we can only cross our fingers for that.
Okay, great. And what are some of the horror films that influenced you?
American Psycho. I like that movie a lot. Christian Bale is amazing in that movie. I don't know if it counts, but Clockwork Orange has always been one of my favorite movies, and it's kind of somewhat fell into that type of genre. You know, a lot of horror fans love Clockwork Orange. So.
And what are you going to do for Halloween this year?
What am I going to do? I have no plans so far, but I'm going to be Sweeney Todd for Halloween. That's what I know. What about you?
I don't know yet. I've been so busy.
Yeah, it's tough to find a plan, but hey, we're in Hollywood, so there will be tons of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? This is Mickey Jury, and you're watching MoreHorror.com.
We're here with Micah, the director of Opus. It's going to screen here at Shriekfest. How are you?
Very good. Thank you.
Is this your first film?
It is my first film. First feature film. Been making short films since I was a little kid. Actually, my writing partner and producer on the film, we've been making films together over 10 years now.
Did you screen the shorts at festivals also?
We screened some shorts, yeah, over the years in festivals.
All horror or other genres?
All sorts of genres. But I started out doing primarily horror, but I love sci-fi, fantasy, that kind of thing.
Do you prefer any genre over the other?
Not really. I think it sort of depends on the story and the film and the concept.
Are you a big horror fan?
Yeah, I like horror movies. My film's more of like a suspense thriller. I'm a big like Hitchcock fan, that sort of genre.
What are some of the modern films that have influenced you or that you really like?
Modern films. Wow.
It's so easy to come up with the classics, you know.
I know.
And it's so hard to find great films that are like the classics, you know. So.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, like one film that's really inspired me was like The Matrix. I mean, I don't know if that's considered like a modern film, but that was something that I used to do a lot of magic and illusion, and that's sort of what drew me into filmmaking. I was really wanted to be a magician when I was younger, and I saw The Matrix, and I was like, oh, like look at all these cool sort of like effects you could create.
So what made you do a horror as your first feature film?
Well, I knew that we weren't able to have a large budget, and so I knew that it would be the perfect sort of genre to kind of experiment around with, and I really have always enjoyed scaring people. I used to build haunted houses a lot when I was younger, and that was sort of, even the approach to this film was kind of to create this environment in this space, and we built the entire house from scratch in a warehouse in downtown LA, and it was a lot of sort of like forced perspective hallways and things like that.
Can you say a little bit about what the film's about?
Yeah, it's about 7 individuals who respond to an ad on Craigslist to star in a horror movie, and they show about this empty house and there's nobody there, and we watch the whole film from this director's perspective, and he's trying to create his master horror film, his master slasher film, and they're the stars, they're in it, and it's real, and they, you know, slowly one by one get killed off.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah. And it was partially improvised, so the actors never saw a script, and they were, you know, really able to relate with their characters because they were actually showing up to set every day, not really knowing what was going to happen, and it was a lot of me playing with them and trying to create something that was different and felt natural.
Did you help them develop characters, or did you tell them to react the way that they would react?
No, they all played characters, but we found people who sort of either resembled them or, you know, for the most part, you know, really could connect with them and were these characters. But yeah, I spent several weeks going through the characters with them and coming up with ideas, but none of the actors met before the first day of shooting. You know, the first time we saw them act together was when we were filming, you know. I really wanted to have, you know, a really sort of experimental, naturalistic feeling to the film.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, good luck.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Hi, this is Erin Marie Hogan, and if you like horror, then check out MoreHorror.com.